So the first international break of this championship season is now here, and I thought it would be a good time to look at the bookmakers' updated championship predictions for the end of the season. Who do the bookies currently have as the bottom three, and who are they fancying for the top six? All will be discussed in today's video. As always, if you do go on to enjoy, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you are new around here as well. But without any further ado, let's just jump in. Starting now at the bottom of the table, the bookies do have Plymouth as the most likely side to be relegated this season with relegation odds of 10 to 11. They are currently one of 5 championship clubs yet to win a match this season. Their underlying statistics haven't been brilliant in their opening matches either, in terms of chance creation, the amounts of shots they've faced so far, and things like that as well. They've got promotion odds of 200 to 1. I can't imagine that's going to be on the agenda for them this season. Some concerns have definitely popped up. I think that the board will give Rooney a little bit of time to figure things out. Obviously, there have been quite a few moving plates with Plymouth this season in terms of recruitment, new players coming in, a new management team, and things like that. But red flags are definitely there at the moment. You can understand why the bookies have got them in 24th. As the second most likely side to be relegated right now, the bookies do have Portsmouth. That's a drop of quite a few places compared to where the bookies had them before a ball had been kicked. Portsmouth also a side yet to win a match this season, but I think it's tough to get a proper reading on them right now. Their start to the season on paper has been really difficult, and even coming out of this international break, it doesn't get much easier for them. Their first 3 games after this international break are up against West Brom, Burnley and Sheffield United, so I wouldn't be surprised if Portsmouth go their first 7 or so matches without a win. After that, the fixture list does ease up a little bit, and that's where I expect them to start picking up points a little bit more regularly. But with relegation odds of 6 to 4 at the moment, they are the second most fancied side to be relegated. And then taking up that last relegation spot, the bookies do have Oxford United with relegation odds of 2 to 1. Now, Oxford have moved up a few places in the bookies' estimations since the start of the season. They were the most tipped side to be relegated before a ball had been kicked, but so far this season, I've been really pleasantly surprised by them. The business that they've done, I think on the whole has been really good. I think they've got a decent spine of players there where there's a nice sort of mix between youth, experience. They signed quite a few players who have previously played at this level, and then that addition of Siriki Dembele really could be that sort of X-factor signing for them. I think they'll pick up points, especially at home this season. That's been evident so far in the 2 home matches they've had. They've won both of them, the most recent one being against my side, North End. Now, whether or not Oxford do run out of steam as the season goes on, we'll have to wait and see, but in all the games I've seen them so far, they've been in them, they pack a punch with a goal threat going forward, but the bookies think they may just fall short. Then, just avoiding the drop, according to the bookies, it's going to be Cardiff. Now, Errol Bullock's side have had a pretty disastrous start to this season. As of recording, they're bottom of the championship. They've only scored 1 goal in their opening 4 matches, but there are reasons to think that Cardiff will improve as the season goes on. On paper, they have had a tough start to the season in terms of the sides that they've faced so far. Straight after the international break, they've got an away game against Derby. If they lose that one, and especially if they don't score in that game, my level of concern regarding Cardiff this season will be cranked up a little bit, but the bookies just has them to survive with relegation odds of 9 to 4, but they're definitely one side who a few people have probably got their eye on right now in terms of a side who could struggle after the start of the season they've had. 20th in the table, the bookies have then got Derby County with relegation odds of 5 to 2. Quite similar things that I was saying about Oxford previously. I think that Derby will pick up the bulk of their points at home this season. That performance just before the international break, I think, was an absolutely massive one. Beating Bristol City and putting 3 goals past them, I think that's a statement result and performance. We've obviously already seen them beating Middlesbrough at home this season as well. You'd think Derby would have enough about them in those home matches to get over the line this season, but they're definitely one of the sides that could be in this relegation pack come the end of the campaign. 19th in the table, the bookies then have my side, Preston North End, with relegation odds of 10 to 3. Based on the chaotic start to the season, I can't really argue with that right now. I do think that the appointment of Paul Heckingbottom definitely has helped to steady the ship. a little bit and should hopefully see us ease away from the relegation battle over these next few sort of weeks and months. But preparation to this season has been far from ideal. Ryan Lowe leaving after one game of the campaign. Recruitment, while I think it was good, not addressing the defensive issues from last season, I think will prove to be a mistake. That was on show in that game against Oxford, how vulnerable we can actually be at the back. But I'm hopeful that as Heckingbottom is given a little bit more time with these players, and there is talent in this Preston squad, we can improve as the season goes on. But yeah, I'm not foolish enough to think that we're definitely going to be easily skirting away from a relegation battle or anything this season. It could be a really tough year for us. 18th in the table, the bookies then have Millwall with relegation odds of 9-2. It was a bit of a concerning start to the season for the Lions, but then right before that international break, they pulled off their best performance and result of the season, putting 3 goals past Sheffield Wednesday and, most importantly, keeping a clean sheet in that game. It's back-to-back clean sheets now for Neil Harris's side coming into the international break. I think that's quite important given how open and vulnerable they were looking at the back in their first 2 matches. The bookies right now has them in 18th. 17th in the table, the bookies then have Hull City, also with relegation odds of 9-2. They've got slightly superior promotion odds though, that's why I've put them 1 place higher than Millwall in this table. Listen, it has been quite a slow start to the season for the Tigers, but I think we were all expecting that with the amount of turnover of that squad this summer, the amount of players leaving, the amount of players who have come in late in the window as well, and it will take time to integrate all these new faces. A new manager coming into the league. There's just a lot of unknown quantities about Hull right now. Yet to get a win this season, but they've had a few solid draws. Most people are expecting a regression from last season. Whether it'll be as brutal as a fall to 17th, we'll have to wait and see. Coming in 16th place, the bookies then have Swansea, relegation odds of 11-2, promotion odds of 22-1. That's probably in the sort of region where I would agree to having Swansea at this point in time. I think that there's a good chance that they could end up being the best of the bunch of this sort of mid-table group that we're going to go through next, but whether or not they yet have the quality to go up against the sides who we reckon will be in the top 6 this season, I'm not so sure. Obviously they did lose those 2 matches away at Middlesbrough and West Brom, but picked up their points against Cardiff and Preston. Similar sort of story for Bristol City so far. Was actually quite encouraged by Bristol City's start to the season, but then that game against Derby really didn't go to plan, did it? Losing that one 3-0. Maybe that bit of inconsistency that has been prevalent in this Bristol City side over these last few years is still going to be the sort of kick in the teeth that just holds them back from properly pushing into that top 6 pack this season. I do think the recruitment on the whole has been good. I think they've added some more firepower and goals to that squad that was desperately lacking at points of last season. But the bookies got them 15th at the moment. You'd imagine they'd be there or thereabouts in this region of the table. I'd probably have them a little bit higher, but Bristol City have made a name for themselves as a mid-table club over these last few years, and on evidence of their opening games, you'd probably say they'd be in and about that pack again. In 14th, we've got Sheffield Wednesday. They've got the exact same odds as Bristol City right now, to be fair. Promotion odds of 14-1, relegation odds of 9-1. Wednesday fans, I'd be fascinated to get some of your views in the comments down below because, I mean, it was such a fast and brilliant start to the season, albeit against a Plymouth side who did look desperately unprepared for that game at Hillsborough, but it was fast, it was on the front foot sort of football, and since that point, we have seen them come unstuck in all of their games since that point. It's 3 consecutive losses for Sheffield Wednesday after that opening day victory. They have looked pretty vulnerable at the back in all of those games as well. Definitely a few things for Danny Roll to work on during this international break. In 13th place, the bookies have QPR. On paper, it's been a pretty tough start to the season for Marty Cifuentes' side in their opening 4 fixtures, going up against the likes of West Brom, Sheffield United and Luton Town. Obviously they got that first win of the season before the international break, which I think is always quite important, beating Luton at Kenilworth Road. I think a finish of around about 13th at the moment is probably quite realistic for QPR. We'll wait and see if they do kick on after this international break though. Slap bang in the middle of the table, we've got Norwich City, both with promotion and relegation odds of 12-1 going into this first international break. Their first 4 matches have been a bit of a mixed bag so far. Great result for them just before this international break though, beating Coventry away. I don't think the speculation surrounding sort of Johnny Rowe at the start of the season necessarily helped things, obviously losing Gabriel Sara as well, and having to sort of replace his importance to this side. Definitely with potential to finish higher than this, but there are still quite a few unknowns with Norwich at the moment. 11th in the table, the bookies currently have Watford, who, according to the bookies, are more likely to be promoted this season than they are relegated. I'm not sure that many people would have agreed with that statement before a ball had been kicked, but been pleasantly surprised by Tom Cleverley's side so far this season. Obviously won all 3 of their opening matches before losing that one last time out against Sheffield United. I think getting off to a good start this season, for Watford especially, was absolutely imperative. It can always be a club that can quickly descend into chaos, but this good start to the season will help steady the ship there. They've managed to get some decent deals over the line in the end, as well in the transfer market. The bookies have got them in 11th. And undoubtedly one of the most underwhelming sides in the Championship so far this season, it's been Luton Town. They're all the way down in 10th at the moment in the bookies' predictions, with promotion odds of 9-1, relegation odds of 14-1, yet to win any match in this Championship season. That includes the Cup as well, when they were beaten by QPR on penalties. Now, before the ball had been kicked, understandably so, Luton were one of the favourites for promotion, but their odds have fluctuated quite dramatically since that point. Goals have been really hard to come by in their opening 4 matches. They've only hit the back of the net twice so far. They are creating a decent amount of chances, but they've just not been able to put them away. Listen, they're languishing in the relegation zone right now. I don't think they'll be anywhere near that come the end of the season, but it's been a slow start to the season. Whether that could hinder a potential top 6 charge, the bookies certainly think so. 9th in the bookies table right now, it's Blackburn Rovers. Also been pleasantly surprised by their start to the season. Before a ball had been kicked, I did have Blackburn in the bottom 3, but 2 wins, 2 draws from their opening matches. I think they pulled it out the bag in the end with the transfer business as well, obviously. Losing Smolix, but I think that was inevitable. Some of the business they've actually been able to do, both in the European market and English market, I think has been strong. While it has been a really good start to the season for Blackburn, I don't think that squad is yet in a position to compete for promotion or anything like that. I do think we will have a bit of a fall off in the coming months, but definitely a lot higher on Blackburn right now than I would have been before a ball had been kicked this season. 8th in the bookies table, we've got Stoke City. Been a little bit up and down for the Potters so far in their opening 4 matches. They've got 2 wins, 2 losses. Good result for them before the international break, beating Plymouth 1-0. They've got promotion odds of 7-1 right now. The deal they really did well to get over the line in the end, I think, is that one for Tom Cannon. He absolutely could be the difference maker for Stoke this season. Someone who I personally think has it in him to hit 20 goals at this level over a full season in the Championship. Sort of the volume of goals he was scoring in the short amount of time he had at Preston on loan. Project that over a full season, he would have got very close to 20 goals. So that could be the missing part of the puzzle for Stoke City this season. But like I said, we have seen good and bad sides of them in their opening 4 matches. 7th in the bookies table right now, it is Coventry. That is a slight drop compared to their promotion odds from before a ball had been kicked. They're 6-1 to be promoted right now, 22-1 to be relegated. It has been a bit of an underwhelming start to the campaign, I can't lie, from Mark Robins' men. Only 1 win in their opening 4 matches, and that was against newly promoted Oxford. And even in that game, it was a last-minute winner, which on another day very much could have ended level. It felt like last season, Coventry really sort of hamstrung themselves because of a slow start to the season, and it almost feels like they're falling into that same trap this season. I do think there will be a part of the campaign where they do start to pick up some momentum. They get the wind in their sails. It usually happens around sort of October, November time maybe, for Mark Robins' men to put a good run together, but they can't afford to leave that too long because other teams will just make up too many points on them in that time. 6th in the table right now, the bookies have Sheffield United. Promotion odds of 10-3, relegation odds of 33-1. Been a good solid start to the season for the Blades. Obviously a lot of new players, new faces that Chris Wilder is having to integrate into that squad right now. I think the recruitment was really strong in the end, in what could have been a bit of a chaotic window where we weren't really sure which version of Sheffield United we were going to get in the Championship this season after how bad they were in the Premier League last time around. But that negative momentum they've seemingly managed to shake off quite swiftly, which you'd probably say Luton have struggled to do so far. if I had to predict my top 6 right now, I'd definitely have Sheffield United in it. 5th in the bookies table, they have got West Brom. Promotion odds of 10-3, relegation odds of 50-1. It has been a really good start to the season for the Baggies, winning 3 of their opening 4 matches. I think, as was the case last season, they're going to be a really hard team to beat at the Hawthorns. And in what could have been a really tricky transfer window for them, they've managed to navigate it fairly well and have pulled off some really nice deals in the end, actually. Corberan still at the club as well. Barring any sort of injury crisis or anything like that, I do think they're in a really strong place to finish in the top 6 again. 4th in the bookies table, it is Sunderland, who obviously top the Championship going into this first international break. Listen, the Black Cats have been a joy to watch so far this season. Despite the loss of Jack Clark, which will obviously be one that hurts, it really feels like a lot of those youngsters are coming into their own this season. Reggie Brees has got them all playing. He's got the harmony within the squad that was desperately lacking, especially in the second half of last season. They've added some nice experience to that team that was badly lacking in the last campaign as well. And listen, this is a team that will score goals and so far have been almost impenetrable at the back as well. 3 clean sheets in their opening 4 matches. Promotion odds of 2-1, relegation odds of 100-1. There's real reason for optimism at the Stadium of Light right now. 3rd in the bookies table, they have got Michael Carrick's Middlesbrough. Promotion odds of 15-8, relegation odds of 100-1. Now, a lot of the underlying numbers do back up Middlesbrough being one of the strongest sides in the Championship this season. In the games they've not won so far this season, it's mostly been a result of poor finishing, and on another day where they'd taken some of those chances, the result could have been completely flipped around. At the opposite end of the pitch, they're not conceding a great deal of chances either. If they can get some of their forwards properly firing this season, there's no reason why they shouldn't be in this promotion hunt. Coming in 2nd in the table, the bookies do have Burnley. Promotion odds of 13-8, relegation odds of 100-1. I think Scott Parker, you have to give him credit for how he sort of navigated this opening month as Burnley boss in what has been a really chaotic transfer window for them in terms of the amount of outgoings, the new faces who have all recently come in. It's a lot to go ahead and deal with. With 7 points on the board from their opening 4 matches, like I say, given all the chaos behind the scenes, I think everyone at Burnley Football Club absolutely takes that start to the season. Despite all the outgoings, I still think the squad is in a really good place to compete for promotion this season. I do think Burnley will be aided by the fact that the top of the Championship is nowhere near as strong this season as it was last year. You know, if we had all of those same teams in the Championship this season once again, I absolutely don't think Burnley will be the second favourites for promotion this year, but the Championship as it is right now, I think there's still that very good case to be made that they will be in the top 2. But coming in as the Championship favourites for the league title, of course it is Leeds United, and it does feel like this is almost their league to lose this season. Would it be fair to say that? I do think, like I was saying with Burnley before, Leeds do benefit from the fact that the top of the Championship this season isn't going to be as strong as last year, and while Leeds have lost some of their best players from last season, the squad is still looking really healthy, in a good position to compete for automatic promotion. As they were last season, I think they're going to be really hard to beat and take points off at Ellen Road. They do have goals in that squad. Joseph looks like he could be a real star of this season. I'm not surprised that the bookies have them as the outright favourites for the league and the league title right now. But there we have it. Heading into this first international break, that's what the bookies are sort of thinking for how the Championship table could shape up come the end of the campaign. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this one down in the comments below. Do you think the bookies have been a bit harsh or a bit too kind on any of these sides? Do let me know. Other than that though guys, thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next one.